No! Damn, would you look at that? And it's got its own light, too. Damn, that image is crisp. We're recording on the new platform here. What's up, everybody? Why are we recording and not hosting it live on YouTube? Excuse me, it's because YouTube is playing games with me, and I found another website. It's called BitChute. That's not even what we're talking about. We're going to go over some of the videos that got taken down. I had some videos taken down. And we're going to also talk about more stuff from 8.5, as they're calling it. So first things first, we're going to talk about the deep strike mechanic that changed. And yeah, it's a big change, but it's not the biggest change. I gotta grab something here real quick. And if this sounds like something, totally, who knows, right? Who knows what that sounded like? I thought I forgot to do that beforehand. So, death guard. Don't deep strike too much. And when I do put my death shroud into deep strike, I usually deploy them second or third turn, not first turn, or even outside of my deployment zone when I do deploy them first turn. So for my list, it changes for not much for me, but that's just because I don't have too much to change with it. I'm trying to decide what color to throw at it next. You know what we'll do? We'll hit him with an ivory. And there's an off-white. Is that my ivory? That's what we're doing. The ivory. So, in our meta, we play typically 1,000 points and under. And it didn't change that. Well, not 1,000 points and under per person, I should say. So we sometimes we'll play larger games as twos. So we'll play 1,200 side. We've played larger games, but the thing is, deep striking's never been that big of a thing for us. Somebody will deep strike stuff every once in a while. And it's a lot easier to invest 400 points into a unit of Terminators when you have 2,500. But Terminators honestly weren't that great. Just saying. Just saying. What are you, Slanesh? Trying to get that turn 1 charge off, bro, with that giant movement speed, and you deep struck a unit of Daemonettes or whatever? Come on, dog. It's like 3 lists that this is really affecting. Could throw more ivory in there. There's not that many lists that this is honestly completely fucking over. And maybe, Blood Angels and all of that. There's another list that there's another army that I was looking at that it did fuck over. But it's like Necrons. But I don't know if the Necrons Teleportarium, I don't even know what it is. Tesseract Dealy, I don't know, the deep strike mechanic that they got from Chapter Approved is affected by that deeply, unless you're trying to get turn 1 charges off, which, come on, dude. They could just, there's a lot of ways to deal with that. In my last video, I tried to stress this, there's Well, definitely more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to dealing with turn 1 deep strike charges. Like, they can just fail. You can screen them. You can cause their charges to be costly. Like, my friends would charge my blight launcher groups with their dudes, and for a period of time, the amount of hits I was pulling off with my blight launchers was insane. And so it was kind of costly to actually charge me with like elite units into my blight launchers, because I would get 2 hits out of 4 on Overwatch, and I'd deal 6 damage, and so they'd be charging me with an elite troop, and they'd all of a sudden their elite troop is dead because he charged a blight launcher, and it was ridiculous. So like that happened, and that can happen. That's part of these charges, my man. So like, when you think about charging on turn, dropping in at 9 inches and getting that 9-inch charge, unless you're doing that as a thing in a, like I said, a larger point game with, maybe a throwaway unit. But again, it's a throwaway unit, and they can easily counter. Excuse me. While I take a short step outside of the room. And these are usually live, so I'm not going to pause it. Ugh. I had to do it, my dude. Had to go blow my nose real quick. I was just losing my mind. Much better. So, the way that you dealt with these problems was bringing melee. I didn't have problems with getting charge 1 because I brought melee effective units on my death guard. So if you charged my death guard turn 1, I would shoot you with blight launchers, and then you got into melee combat with me, and I wasn't melee optimized, but like I said, I was melee effective. I could hurt things in melee enough that they didn't really want to close with me, unless they really wanted to close with me. If you catch my drift there. They either were not going to close with my death guard, or it's going to be all in, because plague flails and mortal wounds and grenades at 6 inches and all that, that's some nasty business. So when they went in, they had to go in. And that might have influenced part of the meta for sure. But a 10-inch charge, a 9-inch charge, and an 8-inch charge is still those respective distances on a dice. You still have to be able to roll these numbers, and if they suffer any casualties in any way, of course they're going to if they suffer casualties in any way, of course they're going to remove off the charge right there that's sitting for their opponent. Like, oh yeah, no, your charge is getting longer, my dude. So you can increase the distance. You can screen it. You can have units that are like, charged? You charged me? Cool. Awesome. Like, this dude right here, stop charges. I don't care what turn you charge me on. When I got that guy with some plague axes, a plague flail, and some power fists hanging around. When I got some melee weapons sitting around and you charge me with your dude, cool. You're just walking into it, man. Yeah, charge me on turn 1 with a fragment of your army. I'll heroically intervene with my command ball and slap the shit out of your force. That's how you deal with turn 1 deep strikes, man. Well, that's just a few ways, and so like everybody says it's a big change, but it's only a big change if you weren't countering turn 1 deep strikes, and somehow people were constantly making those rolls. Which I don't know. I don't know if I buy that was exactly a thing at all. I almost don't believe that everybody was making those fat charges constantly. It was a danger, but like I said, unless you're Tyranids or Slanesh or like Necrons or like, there's a few armies for sure. But everybody else, what? You're gonna spend fucking 50 points a model for a Terminator, and if you're me, like 60 sometimes for fucking Terminators that you're gonna get blasted off the board in one turn and not even make their points back. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Come on, dog. Come on. You know when they put those Terminators down. You know when you're like, oh, my Terminators are here. They're like, oh, your Terminators? Blah, 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 blah. They'll shoot your Terminators up. Come on. You got a deep strike with something heavier than some Terminators, dog. Like, you got a deep strike with something that's too pale. So we're gonna throw a little something in there. But yeah. Especially lately with things like my orcs. Like, I don't jump anymore because, like, for the orcs, what I want to do, actually, is I want to get as close as possible, mess up, and not charge until I have everything ready, right? Everything. Like, it would, like, every time I've charged against certain armies lately, it's been like, oh, I need to, because like I'll get like 2 or 3 30 orc boys that blobs in. I'm like, okay, yeah, that'll be, or just one. I'll get what I think is a decent hit force into a place where I think I can do some decent damage. Turns out that's not exactly what I needed to do. But the thing is, I forgot what the hell I was talking about. With the orcs, I gotta charge turn 2 if possible, but I probably don't get built up enough on turn 2. I get like a decent charge. I get the charge that I'm looking for on turn 3. So maybe stop thinking of playing the short game with your deep strikes. Start thinking, drop them turn 2, drop and unify them on turn 2, so that you don't have your deep strike force, because you can get your deep strike force defeated in parts. So you drop your aggressive what the hell, Inceptors, flying jump pack Astartes with the bolters. Those motherfuckers can get killed. They're not invulnerable. They can get isolated and murdered. So don't throw a bunch of your points around just to have it get tracked down by itself and murked without making its points back, or unless that's its plan. Because there's certain things that I'm putting in the field to just kind of be a distraction unit, The overall effect of this first turn deep strike only being able to put into your deployment zone really just makes me think more and more about can you please wait till turn 3 to put him down, because I know it's a long way, but especially if you can have a semi-powerful drop force and not get tabled before turn 3. That's late in the game. It's showing up late in the game, dog. Y'all been beating the snot out of each other. You've had multiple combat phases. You've had multiple shooting phases. You've been getting after it, and then pow 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 pow. All of a sudden, you have fresh reinforcements on the field. That giant blob is showing up, ready to. It's basically mopping your foot. It's like it's mop up time, man. You're cleaning them up at that stage, because what are they gonna do? I mean, they can for sure if you're fighting certain lists and they isolate fire enough and appropriately deal with the incoming threat, but it's not gonna be the easiest thing for them to come back from you putting this giant unit of completely fresh kill models on. As I call it, a hit unit. A hurt unit. Because some units are hurt units. Some armies have hurt units. And boom. So let's talk about a new subject, because that was just my thoughts on deep striking. It's just what were the other changes that were pretty large? The line of sight blocking character shooting thing, where it's like, apparently it was a huge problem. I was playing with my friends and we never did that to each other, and we also never ended up having that be a thing where somebody could move around a corner and shoot a character, because I don't know, maybe we just maneuvered properly. Maybe it's because we weren't trying to do that much. I mean, it's not like we were taking it easier on each other, but also we weren't trying to do each other completely dirty at the same time. Like, I never ran the respawning blight hauler lists because that's too grimy. Like, I thought about it a couple times, but like, at the end of the day, I'm playing games with my bros, and I'm not trying to do them like that, right? So they could, they could have a massive problem at tournaments, and I get that. But, one of my friends pointed out that, like, that wasn't a thing for us. And I was like, oh, for sure. I didn't even think about it, because I was like, whatever. They clearly had a reason. I was talking to my one homie who doesn't play Warhammer about the changes that are taking place, and he's like, wow, he was blown away actually, because we have this living rule set here of a game at this point, where it's constantly changing, and I greatly appreciate it. And it feels like Games Workshop is massively invested into the community these days, which is awesome. because, you know, we're part of the community. My bad, I didn't know I was painting off screen there. I'm not quite used to this new... Not used to this new... This is a completely new framing than my old YouTube live framing, actually. Believe it or not, same camera, completely different framing, eh? So... the constant changes of 8.5 are hugely important because configuring and tweaking rules at the end of the day is how we make the rule set that is the best, that leads to the most happy playtime experiences with everybody, right? The best time for all involved, and that's what we want. We want everybody who's playing to have positive, happy play times. So that they, like, you know, you're not going to win them all. Like, my one homeboy, who I play with a lot, I beat him last time with my orcs. We played. Great game. Last game before that was kind of tough. There's a couple tough games with my orcs before that, just because things. But the thing is, even if it's a loss, and it can be a tough loss at times, you can still have fun, you know, with the person and playing the game. And so Games Workshop working to take soup off the menu, to rework Deep Strike, to, you know, increase adjust points for what they perceive as problems is fantastic. It's great that they're finally listening to the community. I love it. I mean, like, I wasn't in it for the worst of it, but, like, I know all about devs that don't listen to the community. It's amazing that Games Workshop is doing what they're doing. Nothing but respect for that, actually, to Games Workshop. A lot of people like to say that they're evil and only in it for the money. But, you know what? The models may cost some Skrilla at this point, but you know what? Games Workshop's really giving it a run at making a game. So, I'm not going to fault them at all. And we, as gamers, need to provide them accurate feedback. Let's see. That's it. Later.